Hello and welcome to day 72 in this quest for a 2000 rating on chess.com. Let's find an opponent for today and see what color we'll end up with. Alright. It looks like we have white and we're playing a 1637, so this should be an interesting game. Alright. Well, it looks like they want to play the Caro-Kann. Let's see here. So normally you would just take control of the center here by playing d4, and then they would play this d5 move. But we'll play this a little differently. See what they do here. So we're playing this two knights attack. Alright. So they go ahead and pin us here. So we probably want to play bishop to e2 and break that pin. Let's see here. Or do we want to attack right away? Maybe we could attack right away. So we'll just go ahead and do that. Immediately attack his bishop. Okay, so this just helps us develop our queen. Which is not bad. And we're also threatening to just capture here in the center. So our pawn captures, they capture, then we could capture with our queen and our knights backing it up. So they may press forward here, attacking our knight. Okay, so they decide against that, and now they capture our pawn. So question is, do we want to capture with our queen or with the knight? Probably with the knight, because they'll develop their knight, and alright, so now let's see. We probably just need to develop our pawn up, but I don't know. I want to be careful because we're going to end up blocking in our bishop. So, maybe we just develop our bishop in the center here. The queen could maybe come down and attack it. Let's see here. Alright, we'll just go ahead and do that. Develop our bishop. Then we can push this pawn up, castle, or maybe we want to castle immediately. Alright, so now we might as well just capture that. If the queen captures, we can go ahead and capture and break his pawns apart, creating a little weakness there. So we'll go ahead and do that. And now we are we're in a little better position. I mean, we have a a bishop developed, and they don't have anything developed yet. So I'm thinking we just bring this up, kind of limit the scope of his bishop, and then maybe bring this other pawn up here. We need to figure out what we want to do with our bishop, and then maybe we could castle queenside. But okay, so he may come down here trying to attack us. All right, so if he goes there, what should we try? Okay. Well, we could just go here. Might as well develop our other bishop. Then we can get ready to castle queenside if we would like to. And I probably want to get these pawns. Well, it's kind of late for that. All right, so do we go to the same side here? Castle queenside? Probably. That's probably what we should do. All right, so we'll go ahead and do that. That way we develop our rook as well. See, the problem is, maybe this weakness on our king side. We may end up having to push this forward. But the thing is, his pawns could end up, or my pawns could end up on the same color as his bishop. So that could be an issue. And if his knight jumps here, attacking my bishop, should I go here or maybe here to keep pressure on this pawn? Okay, so he decides to push forward. All right. Well, we'll just go there, keeping the amount of space even. The only problem is he's going to get rid of my bishop pair here, possibly. Maybe, do I want to push there? All right. Well, I think we'll just get rid of that. Or do I let him capture and then pull this pawn to the center? So that's the question. Do I just take here, then it pulls his rook forward? I don't think I want to do that. If I let him take me, then it pulls this pawn away, which is a defender, and I probably want to push this pawn up here. So let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and just capture him. Now, what is best? Probably just bringing this rook into the half-open file may be a good option. All right. Well, we just have to watch out that the knight could find a position to possibly target us. So we'll just go here. That way if he pushes his pawn forward, Well, he can't do that because then we could pick this pawn off. So, maybe he would try and move his knight forward. And then I really have to decide what I want to do then with this bishop. Okay, now, do I go back here, keeping an eye on this pawn maybe? Or do I just back up here? But his knight will probably jump in to this d5 square. So, whenever I move this bishop, then he could jump here maybe. So, but not if I push my g pawn up to g3. So the question is really, where should I put this bishop? And he'll probably just move forward, moving his knight to d5. So, what should I try here? Do I keep this bishop? Maybe move here, but he could just push this and kind of block it. And that would block the scope of my rook, so... I don't know, maybe we'll just stay in that line, because then we're keeping an eye on these pawns here. And if he jumps to d5, I have the option of capturing with my bishop. If I get rid of his knight, the game would be more drawish. Okay, so probably just need to go here, back this bishop up. Or, no, I think I want to keep that bishop there. So we'll go there. That way if his knight decides to jump forward, I can keep an eye on it from a2 with my bishop. Now, if he jumps his knight up to d5, okay, so he's just pushing us back. So we'll just go there, keeping an eye on this diagonal where the knight is. So if he jumps his knight forward, if we capture his knight, instead of capturing with a pawn, he could possibly capture with a rook. All right. So we pretty much have to do that. Now, will his rook jump up here and put pressure on this? If that happens, well, I can just go here, protect it with c3. Okay, so he does decide to do that. We'll just do that. And then the problem is he can start marching this pawn. So he can try and start marching his f-pawn and trade here. So f-pawn marches forward. Yep, here it comes. All right. All right. So what now? What would be good now? All right, we'll just move forward. Then maybe we can get both our rooks up here to help guard everything. All right. Okay. Well, do we move up here? That's a possibility. Or do we just protect here? So we'll just go ahead and do that. All right. Okay, so as knight comes forward, we probably need to chop that knight off with our bishop. So we'll go ahead and knock that knight out of there because I don't want the knight, if this pawn pushes forward, I don't know, maybe that was hasty, but probably not because the knight could have repositioned here and then maybe tried to jump in here. So I didn't want that knight causing problems. All right. So now, what should we try to do here? We could push this pawn, possibly. Try and open up the B file. So that is a possibility. All right. Should I move this rook up here to e5? Does that really do much? Keeps this pawn from pushing forward, but he could just attack me with his f pawn. I'd have to move. Well, I guess not right away because I could pick this off. So let's see here. And I've had issues in the past with overlooking rook moves, so I need to be careful here. Maybe I could jump here. I have to watch out though. If he pushes this pawn forward, then I must be careful because if he captures, I capture, and if he swings his other rook over here, he'll have two rooks piled up on this backward pawn, and then my rooks would be stuck here playing defense. So what can I do here? Well, then at that point, I could move a rook here, threaten to pick this off with check, Now the question is, do I want to go here? He could just push forward. If I capture, he goes here. Um, So now we're kind of running out of options. We'll just do that. See what he does. Just see what he decides to do here. Oh, or maybe I should have brought this rook over to f3. Maybe that would have been a better move. I don't know. I got to be careful, though. I don't want to trap my rooks because things... Okay, so here he goes. All right. All right. We'll try that. See what he does. See what he does there. All right. Well, now we can go there. All right. What should we try next? Do we capture with the pawn or with the rook? Does it make a difference? If we capture with the... Oh, no, we have to capture with the pawn. What am I even thinking? Because he's attacking that pawn. So now at least we're attacking this pawn as well. But the problem is now he can start trying to march this other pawn. You know, will he just push this F pawn now? Yes, so that is what he does here. All right. All right. What should I try next? Do I go there? Okay, and there he's piling up on everything. So, the problem now is that he's just going to push this pawn. So then what do? Do I capture with the rook? Hmm. All right. So the problem is he's just going to push this pawn forward. So if he does that, what do I do? Do I capture with the rook? Then he could capture here. All right, let's go ahead and do that. All right, and now, like usual, we're low on time here. Okay, so we probably just want to pick that off right there. Okay, and now, what do we... Hmm. All right. Now, was that really a good choice? Because now he could try and swing over here and just jump in here. So maybe that wasn't the best choice. If I go here, he could swing over here. If I push this pawn up, he could just check me. Then if I move, he picks this pawn off. So that's not looking too good. Now, would there be any reason to... No. All right, we'll just go there, see what he does. Maybe he'll check me and try and swing over here. But now I'm just running out of time and it's not looking good. So, maybe I shouldn't have opened this B file here. And I don't know, now his king could just kind of try and swing down here, jump into this spot, and that's not looking too good. Well, I don't know, because I'm keeping an eye on this pawn. So if he moves his rook, then I only need one rook to guard this. If his king moves, I'm threatening to pick this off. I don't know. It's looking kind of rough. So if he pushes forward, then what do I do? It's looking pretty difficult here in this end game. He kind of has me tied up. His rooks are attacking here. If he swings over, I don't know, I'm almost forced to go here. And then I'm going to have to watch out that maybe he doesn't pull up his other rook and try and double up on me. Okay. So that is an interesting move there. I could just ignore him. So should I do that? Should I just ignore him? If he captures, I capture. All right. Well, if I pick this off, okay, I really have to be careful here, and I'm running out of time. If I pick this off, well, then he could just go this way. He could capture this way. Well, if he did that, he'd probably capture this way. I don't know. This is looking pretty rough here. What the heck should I do? Probably ignore that. All right. I don't know. It's just not looking too good here. If I go here, he could just trap me on this edge of the board. All right, I guess we're just going there to see what he does. If he captures me, then his other rook comes down, or he just might move his other rook down here immediately. So, I don't know, maybe I should have captured his rook there, but that would just bring a pawn forward. Then he would have a passed pawn there. Okay, so now he just goes ahead, traps me, which is not too good. All right. So I'm kind of just running out of options here. Okay, I guess we're doing that before we run out of time. Before we run out of time. I don't know. It's not looking too good here. Not looking too good. I might be forced to capture here. This is just a tough end game. I kind of let my rooks get into a passive, like a defensive position while his rooks are attacking. Okay. So he's just going to move down here. All right, I'm just kind of forced to move in there with something like that. And now I'm just in trouble here. Just kind of in zugzwang. Yeah, I think I'm just lost now. So it's not looking too good. Not looking too good here. Not too good at all. Yeah, I should have resigned already. But I guess I'll play a little bit longer. And now that's pretty much the end. The end. I mean, now he could just move here. Yeah. And cause all kinds of problems. Yep, all right, I'm just going to resign. That was just an ugly game. Ugly, ugly. Just the end game turned into a disaster once I opened that B file up, I guess. All right, let's do the game review here, see what I should have done. Oh my gosh, they played 97.4% accuracy. Well, there's not much you can do if somebody's playing 97.4% accuracy. And that was a long game, too. So, I don't know. I mean, it's possible for people to play 97.4, but it's just when somebody's that accurate, it makes you wonder if they have a little bit of computer help. Okay. It says that game didn't go your way, but there are some good moves to review. Let's take a look. Okay, so I had 4 inaccuracies and 1 mistake, and they only had 1 inaccuracy in... All right, let's just blast through these moves. Try and see where we went wrong. Man, it was just, I guess, yeah, okay, that was it. They didn't want me to open this B file, so I should have kept that closed. Man, even then, black was ahead. Even then, black was in the lead, but it looks like it would have been better for me to push that pawn forward. All right, so it's saying I should have pushed forward. Then if they do this, I don't know, that might have at least given me a chance to hold the game. But we'll take a look at that in the analysis, because once I opened that B file, the game just drastically went downhill from there. So yeah, now it's a disaster once I just started giving up pieces. So I don't know, oh my gosh. Yeah, wait till you see what level they played at. So when somebody's playing that 2300, so I played at a 1950 level, and they played at 2300. So either I just played some chess master whose rating is still climbing, but I don't know. There wasn't a lot of craziness in the game as far as tactics, so they could have just, picked decent moves. Let's see. I played 100% opening accuracy. They played 98.1. Middle game, I played 96.6, and they played 98.4. And then the end game, I just played 75.7, and they played 96.7. So when they're playing in the high 90s, like, how do you... I don't know. You're not going to have much luck against that unless you're playing an almost perfect game. But opening up that B file is where all the problems occurred. So we'll look at the analysis here from the beginning. So E4, C6. This is the Caro-Kann defense. Now, probably the most common move, or one of them, although the computer's saying it's the third best move, is just to play D4. And a lot of times that's what people will do in the Caro-Kann because they push forward. So basically, you play E4, they play C6, and they're not immediately controlling D4. And that would give you the option to put both your pawns on their ideal squares on D4 and E4. But then they would counterattack with D5. But instead, I'm trying to get this two knights attack opening down because it's a little different. People might not be as used to that. So here, see, they just respond the same way. The same as if you would have just played D4. And then you just bring your other knights. So I have two knights developed. They don't have any pieces developed yet. So that's, I guess, the upside to this opening. But now they pin me. So it looks like the best move is... the computer's saying D4 is best, to just ignore that pin. And then if they capture, you'd probably have to capture with your G-pawn. But, if I'm going to castle on the queen side, maybe that wouldn't matter anyway. So I'll have to take a look at this opening and brush up on the moves here. So I just immediately attacked, forcing the bishop to make a decision. They capture, but that lets my queen develop by capturing here. And now computer recommends E6, just fortifying this pawn in the middle because I'm piling up with my knight, my queen, my pawn. They're all piling up on this pawn. So my opponent, I guess, alleviate all this pressure on this D pawn, he just goes ahead and attacks. So the best move is to capture with your knight. So now if they develop their knight, your queen is not sitting there on E4 to be chased away, so you can just capture. So now they play E6 because this will let them, they probably, well, that's hard to say. If they captured, or excuse me, if they bring their bishop to E7 and then the knight here to F6, it might give me time to attack their G pawn. but I don't know if that makes a difference, because if we traded off and their bishop ended up on f6, they could just slide their bishop back to g7 if they had to push that g pawn, and then they're ready to castle. All right, but in the game, I just developed here. What did they say was best? Looks like d3. So it would have been better just to play d3 or e2. And then they also like c3. Anyway, this move is still excellent. It develops a piece. You're ready to castle kingside if you want to do that. And now, let's see. Either capturing their knight or just playing c3 would be best here. So I capture. I figure they're higher rated. If I'm playing against somebody higher rated, a lot of times I might try and trade pieces down, because if it's a draw, it's still a draw against a higher rated player. But I don't know. That's probably not the best strategy. You should look for the best moves. So they capture, and here, let's see. Looks like queen to b3 would have been better, targeting this pawn. But they could push forward maybe and attack my bishop, but then they would be left with this backward c pawn that could be weak. But now the computer's also recommending queen captures, which is what I did, and this leaves them with broken pawns here on the king side. So now d4 immediately looks like that's the best move. Well, maybe was that? Let's look again here. Now the computer's changing its mind, saying that it's better just to play a4 to prevent this pawn from kicking my bishop. All right, or g3. So they have different recommendations. Now they're even saying retreat your bishop back. All right. Well, it wants h5 immediately, but they develop their knight. What should I have done there? Bishop to e2. They like the bishop retreat back here. So if the bishop retreats, I guess that prevents the knight from being able to chase your bishop. Okay, so I just develop another piece. They're saying I should have just moved my king over here. I don't know. That's an interesting choice. I don't know if I like that move. They castle, which is good. White. But that move puts white slightly in the lead. So I castle, which is excellent. Now black is in the lead. They wanted king to e2 instead. All right. h5 is best. So they finally play that move. Oh man, they recommend g4 here, which that makes sense. That if they that would get rid of this weak isolated pawn, because they could capture, I could capture. Then we're fighting for this open h file. All right, so this puts the game in black's favor. But it's still pretty even here. And now they are able to trade off, get rid of my bishop pair. So it looks like either bishop to d2, or just capturing. Now what does bishop to d2 offer? If you go there, they're going to capture, and it just helps you get your king into the game. I don't know if I like that, having my king on this d file. They could maybe I don't know, cause problems with this rook if lined up on the d file. All right, anyway, we captured. They capture with the rook, of course. So now c3 is what they're recommending. What do we do here? We played rook at h to e1, so we just centralized our rook, which is tied for the second best move. Another option, and I think I looked at it in the game, was to retreat my bishop back and try and eye this pawn. But instead we centralize. Now the computer's saying that's the best. So they attack. And here, I wasn't sure where I should put this bishop. They actually like this retreat all the way to f1 or e2. Bishop to b3 was third, but now the game is equal. And they recommend rook at h to h8, bringing the rook up where it can be repositioned. Instead, they threaten to trap my bishop. And now, oh, this is interesting. a4. I didn't think about a4. That was better than, a little bit better than a3. Because it keeps the space equal. You know, I should have thought about that. So it looks like, yes, I should have played a4 there. Because now they can play that, gain more space, chase me back to a2 here. And now, let's see, they played rook to g6. f5 would have been a little bit better, according to the computer. So we have to play g3 to protect our pawn that's under attack. And now f5, rook at g to g8. They play this move, which the computer says is still excellent. They're piling up here on this pawn. So we play c3 to protect it. And now f5. So f5 is played. Now why is that the best move? Oh, okay. Yeah, we talked about that in the game. Because they're pushing forward and they want to pile up on this G pawn, which is what they do in the game. So now, interesting. It's saying I should have immediately jumped up here with my rook. Because black is in the lead now. Rook to e5 or rook to f1 even. Okay. All right, but I have to watch out for the pressure, the doubled rooks and this pawn, everything. I thought my opponent was gonna, go after this G pawn more. So as king starts coming up, we move up here. Computer says that's best because we need to keep an eye on this G pawn. Now, knight to d5. So here, it looks like I should not have given up my bishop. So b3 is the best move. Just play b3 here, attacking this pawn. I was worried though, if he moved here with his pawn, if I ignored it, well, he could even swing back here and then just jump in here. Although I can't even attack him because then his knight could pick this pawn off. So I don't know. I wanted to get rid of that knight before it became a threat. And it still says that's an excellent move, but black is in the lead now. So they capture with the pawn, which is the second best move. But, usually if you can capture towards the center with your pawns, that's a good idea. So now rook to b1 would be best. All right. Well, yeah, a lot of times if your rooks are in a passive position, they're just playing defense, sometimes it pays to give up a pawn and activate your rooks. So maybe I should have just ignored this over here. The computer wants me to play rook to b1. I don't know. Either way, it's not looking too good. It says this rook to e2 is still good, but now it's 0.6 in black's favor. So he moves his king up. This is an inaccuracy, and the game is almost even again. It would have been better to... I think the computer said rook to e4 is best. So let's take a look at that. Oh, hold on. Gotta go back. Rook to e4. So if that is played, and that's what it's saying is best now, rook at d to e3 would be a good move. Okay. They even recommend just immediately capturing. And then when a pawn captures, you just retreat your rook back to the d1 square. All right, so if they play that, the top move is to just double my rooks up. And then, let's see, rook to g8. And now, rook to e1. Just retreat back. And then finally the king starts moving up. And then now it's recommending that we play that move. And then rook at g to g4. So they just kind of infiltrate our position. But I don't know. These rook endings can be difficult sometimes. So that's why I started trying to do the Rook School series, to start with the rook endings basics and then, slowly make the... in the future, I'll slowly make things more difficult or go into more difficult rook endings. But I'm sticking with the basics in that Rook School series for now. All right. So we had rook to e2. They bring their king up, which is an inaccuracy. And then I played rook at e to e3, which is an inaccuracy. So that's interesting how my opponent makes an inaccuracy and then I follow it right up with my own inaccuracy. So what should I have done? f4. Oh, man. Yeah. I guess f4 makes sense. That would have been a good move because it kind of blocks his pawns in the center. If he doubles up over here, I pretty much just go here. But black is still in the lead. So f4. And now they're saying, what, king to c6 is best? And then rook to e1. Rook at d to g8, doubling up here. Then, of course, that would force me to protect. And now they can swing over. I don't know. It's like, how do you make headway in this position? I mean, I guess they could start trying to push this pawn. Well, not while this is unprotected. Maybe they could bring their king over here to protect, push this pawn, push forward, start trading off in the center. I don't know. It's kind of difficult here. All right, let's move on. I play this, they attack. So, what should I do here? I play rook to f3. It would have been better to capture. So, if I were to have captured there, capture. See, I didn't want to capture because of this possibility. Now they have this passed pawn over here. So apparently f5 is best. Although now they want this move. They said I should just immediately go over here and attack. But I don't know. They would attack this. Man, I don't know. None of it looks too good. So let's see. F5 is what they recommend. Then captures. This doubles their pawns up. Then rook to h3. They're ahead in material, so they should trade off pieces. I capture. This is under attack. They would just protect. So their pawns are broken apart, which, that's good for me. But black is still ahead here. It looks like b3 would be fine, which is kind of what happened in the game. But okay, let's finish this out. Rook to f3. They finally capture. I go ahead and capture with the pawn. Looks like that's best. They start marching their other pawn. It looks like b3 immediately would have been the best move. But I wasn't sure what to do here. And I just moved this rook, which they say is still good. But now black is ahead by over 1. So I don't know. It's not looking good. They should have immediately centralized their rook over here. And now once again b3, which it looks like I actually played it. So the b3 move was the best in this position, I guess. So, but it's how I followed up. Once they went here, I should not have captured. I should have pushed forward to b4, keeping things closed over here, because when I opened it up, it allowed another avenue of attack for black. So here, the best thing to do, looks like, is rook to f8 or c8. So they could start piling up on that backward c pawn. But, I don't know if they'd make much headway, because I could just guard that with my rooks and my king. So what is this? Rook to f8. Here, I should go rook to e1. Well, now it's saying f1 as well. Rook at f to g8. If they just do that, well, then we're forced to just go back here. And now it says rook to f8 again. Or, I don't know, they give you multiple options, but it doesn't look like it would be very easy to make headway for black here. Although, would it be good to push this pawn forward at some point? Okay, well, let's look at what happened in the game. This is where it all went downhill. They capture. Now, what do I do here? The rook can just land in here. Looks like c4 is the best move. I actually thought about pushing that pawn, but then I thought they would capture, and then it would be hard to defend this. It just didn't look very good. So let's take a look, see what the computer says, because they can just capture. Now I'm behind a pawn. I push forward to protect this, but they could threaten to just go here and then here. I pick this off, I guess, but they could bring their king in first. So it's saying rook at 4, to G7. And once again, it's also recommending that move. King just captures here, but then we have rook to C7, king to D3, rook to B8. So this is not looking good here. King to E2. Oh man, this looks dangerous. Rook to B2. King down to D1 to prevent a mate. Rook to B1. King up to D2. Rook to B2. King to D1. Well, they could just, go here, or they could even just go here, double the rooks up over here. So I don't know. And either way, black is in the lead. So king to B2 is what happened in the game. And this is where I was just not playing too good. I was thinking I had to keep my king over here to protect this A pawn, but then my king is really sidelined. So finally they make this move, although the computer wants an immediate rook to B8. So I move over. What would have been better here? King to C1. Or excuse me, C2. So they like that better. But then here this comes. And now rook to D3. Oh, this is just not looking good. Rook to B3. They're going to get ready to pick this off. Rook to D1. Yeah, at this point, black would just be pretty much winning. All right, so king to A2. Now my king is trapped over here. I'm running out of options. It says I should have immediately captured there. So I move up to protect that pawn. Their king starts repositioning to a better spot. So finally I capture this, but now it would have been better to just give up that A pawn. So now I'm just completely losing here already. So they capture. I have to go here to stop this. But what do I do now? The king just moves up and I'm just out of options. Everything I do will lose something. If I move my rook, the C pawn will be picked off. If I move my king, the A pawn will be picked off. Maybe play the G pawn, but then they could just go here. So yeah, anyway, then it's just a disaster after this. I tried to get some kind of counter play, but I don't know. It's not. Now this is a runaway pawn. There's a mate in 15 or less. So check. He picks that off. Check. Now what do we do? Apparently it would have been better to just go here. And they picked the best move right there, threatening to pick this pawn off. What do I do? I just resigned here. All right. Well, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you haven't already, feel free to leave comments, suggestions, or any requests for future videos. All right. Thank you for watching and have a super chess day.